Rule number 2, Duties of the Official. Section 1, The Game Officials. Crew Chief. The crew chief is the head official in basketball who is responsible for making the final decision in a game. The crew chief is the lead referee and acts as the captain for the group. So this is the crew chief. Next is referee. Referee is the one to ensure the game is played safely and fairly. The referee enforces the rules of the game and in a game will make hundreds of decisions. The referee also determining when a violation or foul occurs. Umpire. Umpire observing game rules, awarding points, imposing penalties, determining results, identifying infractions, examining participants to make sure they follow safety regulations, verifying scoring regulations, and announcing winners. So this is the referee and the umpire. Replay center. Replay center assisted by an official scorer. The two trained timers. One timer will operate the game clock and the other timer will operate the shot clock. So this is the replay center. Courtside administrator. Courtside administrator stationed at the scorer's table to facilitate communication between the replay center official, on-court game official, official scorer, and the other personnel at the table at the scorers. So this is the court administrator.
Section number 2, Duties of the Official. First, the official shall, prior to the start of the game, inspect and approve all equipment, including court, basket, balls, backboards, timers, and score equipment. Second, the official shall not permit players to play with any type of jewelry, and the official shall not permit any player to wear equipment which, in their judgment, is dangerous to other players. Any equipment which is not hard substance, cast, splint, guards, and braces must be padded or foam covered and have no exposed, sharp, or cutting edges. All face mask and eye or nose protector must be approved by NBA basketball operations and conform to the contour of the face and have no sharp or protruding edges. Then, the use of any foreign substance during games is strictly prohibited. A foreign substance is any substance that is applied during games to a player body, uniform, or equipment, or any game equipment that is designed or intended to provide a player or a team with a competitive advantage. All equipment used must be appropriate for basketball. Equipment that is unnatural and designed to increase a player's height or reach or to gain an advantage shall not be used. The official must check the game balls to see that they are properly inflated. The recommended ball pressure should be between 7.5 and 8.5 pounds. and then the crew chief shall be the official in charge. And the replay center official will make the final ruling on all replay except for flagrant foul and altercation. If a coach desires to discuss a rule or interpretation of a rule prior to the start of a game or between period, it will be mandatory for all officials to ask the other coach to be present during the discussion. The same procedure shall be followed if the official wish to discuss a game situation with either coach. The designated official toss the ball at the start of the game. The crew chief shall decide whether or not a good shall count if the official disagree, and she shall decide matter upon which scorer and timers disagree. All the officials shall enter the court prior to the 15 minutes mark on the game clock to observe the warm-up period and report to the league official any typical situations and to review scorer and timing procedures with the table personnel. The crew chief must check the active list prior to the start of the game, and then the official must meet with team captains prior to the start of the game. Lastly, official must report any atypical or unique incident to the basketball and referee operations department by email. Flagrant, punching, fighting fouls, or a team's failure to have 8 players to begin the game must also be reported.
Section 3. Elastic Power. The officials shall have the power to make decisions on any point, not specifically covered by the rules. The league office will be advised of all such decisions at the earliest possible moment. This is a skill that the officials have during a game, specifically a basketball game. A rule break or a rule violated, officiating officials shall have the ability to see the violated rule immediately and decides a corresponding consequence that is advantageous to the opposite team. For example, a free throw shot because of a foul. Fast decision making is important because it avoids killing more time and let the game proceed as smoothly as possible.
Let us now proceed to Section 4, which is different decision by officials. Letter A of Section 4, which is the crew chief shall have the authority to set aside or question decisions regarding a rule interpretation made by either of the other officials. B of Section 4, if two officials give conflicting signals as to who caused the ball to go out of bounds, they will conference and reconstruct the play in an attempt to make the correct call. If no resolution is reached, a jump ball will be signaled between two players involved at the nearest circle. If two players cannot be identified, the jump ball shall be administered at the center circle between any two opponents in the game. If one official signals and another official clearly knows the call is incorrect, they should conference and the calling official may change the call on the information given. However, if both officials are adamant about their ruling, a jump ball should be held similar to above. Exception. last 2 minutes of the fourth period and the last 2 minutes of overtime.
C. In the event that a violation and foul occur at the same time, the foul will take precedence. D. Double foul, see Rule 12b to Section 6 to F. E. If the two officials differ on a block charge or foul involving the restricted area and or lower defensive blocks, they will conference and share information in an attempt to make the correct. If on resolution reached, it will be treated as the double foul. Exemption. Last 2 minutes of fourth period and last 2 minutes of overtime.
Section 5. Time and place for decision. A. The official have the power to render decisions in fraction of rules committed inside or outside boundary lines. This includes period when the game may be stopped for any reasons. B. When a personal foul violation occurs, an official blow his or her whistle to terminate the play. If violation has occurred, the official will indicate the following: the nature of violation by giving correct signals, the number of offender, the direction in which the ball will be advanced. C. When the team is entitled to throw in, an official shall clearly signal 1. The act which caused the ball to become dead. 2. The spot to throw in. And lastly, the team entitled to throw in unless it follows successful failed or what we called free throw. D. When a whistle is erroneously sounded, whether the ball is in position or non-position status, it is an inadvertent whistle and shall be interpreted as suspension of play.
Section 6. Correcting errors. A. Free throws. Officials may correct an error if a rule is inadvertently set aside and results in the following. Number 1. A team not shooting a merited free throw that will remain in play. Exception: if the offensive team scores or shoots earned free throws as a result of a personal foul prior to the possession by the defensive team, the error shall be ignored if more than 24 seconds has expired. Number 2. A team not shooting a merited free throw that will not remain in play, the error shall be corrected. All play shall stand and play will resume from the point of interruption, with the clocks remain the same. Number 3. A team shooting an unmerited free throw. Number 4. Permitting the wrong player to attempt a free throw. Letter A. Officials shall be notified of a possible error at the first dead ball. Letter B. Errors which occur in the first or third periods must be discovered and rectified prior to the start of the next period. Letter C. Errors which occur in the second period must be discovered and the scores table notified prior to the officials leaving the floor at the end of the errors must be rectified prior to the start of the third period. Letter D. Errors which occur in the fourth period or overtimes must be discovered and rectified prior to the end of the period. Letter E. The ball is not in play on corrected free throw attempts. Play is resumed at the same spot and under the same conditions as would have prevailed had the error not been discovered. Letter F. All play that occurs is to be nullified if the error is discovered within a 24-second time. The game clock shall be reset to the time that the error occurred. A. Exception number 1. Acts to be acts of unsportsmanlike conduct and all flagrant fouls and points scored therefrom shall not be nullified. Letter B. Exception number 2. If the error to be corrected is for a free throw attempt where there is to be no lineup of players on the free throw lane, technical foul, defensive 3 seconds, flagrant foul, clear path to the basketball foul, punching foul, away from the play foul, the error shall be corrected, all play shall stand, and play shall resume from the point of interruption with the clocks remain the same.
So this is the continuation of correcting errors. So lineup position. In any jump ball situation, if the jumpers line up incorrectly and the error is discovered. So number 1, after more than 24 seconds has elapsed, the teams will continue to shoot for that basket for the remainder of that half, and if the error is discovered in the first half, teams will shoot at the proper basket as decided by opening tap for the second half. So, kibali kung sa jump ball sa first half, may error sa lineup position sa usa ka team, ang usa ka team na pod naay chance na maka-shoot sa second half if naay error sa lineup sa usa ka team. So, number 2, if 24 seconds or less has elapsed, all play should be nullified. So, if 24 seconds or less has elapsed, ma-cancel out ang play. Mautong na ay ma-shoot sa second half. So, throw in. If the second, third, or fourth period or any throw-ins begins with the wrong team being awarded position or the teams facing in the wrong direction and their error is discovered. So after 24 seconds has elapsed, the error cannot be corrected. Kung ang 24 seconds ma-elapse na or matapos na, ang error hindi siya counted. So, with 24 seconds or less having elapsed or less nag-progress pa ang 24 seconds, ma-counted yun siya ang error or ang play ma-cancel out. So, this is a record keeping. Mao ni siya ang mga record sa play na may mga errors. Kaning na-fouls, kaning sa usa ka player, na-record yun na siya. Para maibaw-an na a record-keeping error by the official scorer which involves the score, number of personal fouls, teams fouls, and or timeouts may be corrected by the officials at any time prior to the end of the fourth period. And any such error which occurs in overtime must be corrected prior to the end of that period. So, kailangan dyan siya ang record keeping para maibawan po sa mga official or referee kung unsay mga error sa mga player sa usa ka team. So, mao na to siya ang correcting errors na topic.
Hello everyone, my name is Leandro Basco from the Group 4 and I'm going to report about the duties of scorer. So, the scorer should record all the field goals made, the free throws, and sila pud ang nakakuan assign sa about sa kanang sa timeouts and sa name sa tanang players and sa kuan pod sa ilang number ingana sa substitution o sa pila naka fouls ingana. So ang kani sila naara ni sila sa table kay nagsila man ang naglist about sa kanang sa mga fouls nga na kay di man na pwede og mo lapas ang fouls nila sa 5 or 6. So sa international nga rule or sa NBA is kuan man ang ilas 6. So kung molapas na og 6 di na pwede sila mo duwa mo nang sila ang duty nga na kibali. Sila po ang nag-control kibali sa buzzer kay sila may magkuan sa timeouts o ang sila po ang nagkuan sa time sa duwa. Sila po ang nagunit sa time sa duwa. So mao to ang kuan. Salamat.
So, this is my topic, Section 8, Instruction Duties of Timers. So, the referee shall designate the official timepiece and its operator. The second timer should assume responsibilities of operating the timeout, stopwatch, and checking the official timepiece. So, kibali na referee para sa official timepiece na pod official nga referee nga sa second timer na po siya responsibilities. Kibali di lang isa ka referee ang sa duwa sa basketball na dagang more than 2 referees para may bawaan nga di jud maklaro jud ang ang fouls, mga errors sa duwa. So, duties and responsibilities of timer are indicated. An efficient timer will carefully study this section and become thoroughly familiar with all their aspect. So, kailangan jud kanang na responsable jud sa sa time sa duwa kay kailangan jud na importante jud na ang time sa duwa para di jud magkajabag ang ang gameplay sa basketball. So, mao ni ila instrument para sa time sa basketball. So, this is electric clock timer and apila na siyang 24 seconds and the time limit of the gameplay. So, electrical clock timer and one stopwatch or a table clock timer and 1 or 2 stopwatch are gong, loud siren or electric air horn to signal the end of the playing game. So, mo na siya. So, before the game, the official timer should ascertain the game starting time and suggest that the referee and coaches synchronize their watches. So, number 1, dapat kanang alert to na jud mga kay sa NBA pa lang kailangan na jud ni alert jud sa duwa ay so wala jud kwan ba wala jud may masayop sa duwa ba kanang kailangan jud clean as neat ang gameplay. So review the official signals for starting the clock timeout, a foul or violation. Notify also number 3, notify the score 10 minutes prior to the starting time. Kaning number 2, kailangan ma-review jud ang mga clock, mga time para inigduwa na di na nang kanang inigduwa alert na jud kayo ba sa mga fouls or 24-second violation para mga inana ba. So sa number 3 kanang dapat before the game kailangan jud ma-notify ang mga scorers 10 minutes lang prior to the starting time. So mo na siya. So the timer shall note when each half is to start and shall notify the crew chief and both coaches 5 minutes before this time, or cause them to be notified at least 5 minutes before the half is to start. They shall signal the score 2 minutes before starting time They shall record playing time and time of stoppages are provided in the rules. The official timer and the 24-second clock operator shall be provided with digital stopwatches to be used in case the official timeout. Game clock or 24-second clock, game clocks located above the blackboards fail to work properly. So in half time, they review the game. Kung napay mga mga sayop, pina-record na nila. And mga operator sa time, they maintain na fixed jud kayo ang clock na hindi jud daot. So mao na siya. So at the beginning of the first period, any overtime period or whenever play is resumed by a jump ball, the game clock shall be started when the ball is legally tapped by either of the jumpers. The 24-second clock will be started when player position of the ball is obtained. No time will be removed from the game clock and or 24-second clock if the ball is not legally touched before violation. So kanang pag-jump ball pa lang, if ikapan na ang bola, masugod na ang 24-second clock. So if dili pa, di dyan na siya mag-start ang 24-second clock. So muna siya. If the game clock has been stopped and the ball is put in play by an throw-in, the game clock and the 24-second clock shall be started when the ball is legally touched by any player on the court. The starting of the game clock and the 24-second clock will be under the control of the official timer. So pareha po to sa sa jump ball, mao po na siya pag throw in. Pag throw in lang sa bola sa usa ka player, magsugod ng 24 second. So pag guman if nag-throw in ang usa ka player nga way pa nag 24 second, nag-start ang 24 second, pero kaning mag-signal lang referee way gi-draw in na niya na violation. So during an unsuccessful free throw attempt, the game clock will be started when the ball is legally. The 24-second clock will be started when player position of the ball is obtained. So kaning even nga nag-free throw ka, nag-throw in na ka sa bola na kuha sa kontra, counted na gyapon as 24 second proceed na gyapon sa 24 second. Wala error, wala violation. So na siya. The game clock shall be stopped at the expiration of the time for each period, and when an official sound his or her whistle, the timer shall record only the actual playing time in the last minute of the first, second, and third periods. They shall record only the actual playing time in the last 2 minutes of the fourth periods and the last 2 minutes of any overtime periods. So, ang game clock kung nag-stop na, mahuni ang ang gong, ma-whistle na ang referee. So, gina-record na nila ang actual playing time sa last minute, sa first, o second, o third periods. O i-record na po nila ang playing time sa last of 2 minutes of the fourth period and the last 2 minutes of the overtime periods. Kibali na ay overtime. So, gina-record na nila sa mga official. So, muna siya. So, for a charge timeout, the timer shall start the timeout clock immediately after an official signals for a timeout in play will not resume until the timeout clock is expired. So, kaning mag-signal ang referee sa mga timeout, hindi, muna siya. So, napoy time para sa timeout. So, kana. So, the game clock and the scoreboard will combine to cause a horn to sound. Muna siya nga mag-sound yun na ang electric clock para sa ending sa gameplay. And automatically, when playing time for the period has expired, if the horn or buzzer failed to sound or it's not heard, the official timer shall use any other means to notify the official immediately. So, kung naidaot ang electric clock, mag-time out yun na ang referee. Wanang kuan dun nila dadyon i-notify ang mga officials para ma-fix ang game clock. So, it happens sometimes sa mga inana nga magdaot ang game clock. So, in the dead ball situation, if the clock shows 0, the period or game is considered to have ended although the horn may not have sounded. So, ano mga situation anak? So, kapag na-shoot ang bola, nga way pa nag-horn, ang sound dyan, na-counted ang bola, it also, ma-counted yun na siya as points. So, mao na ginatawag nga crunch time. So, if ang bola, nga way na counted, dyan, nag-end na, hindi na siya counted. So, mao na siyang topic, section 8. Duties and responsibilities of timers.